Who's driving my car? If you want to know, pull up a chair, grab a mug. You're having coffee with the prophet. Today, having coffee with the prophet, I want to get more into the dream mode today. So we're going to be dealing with more of what you would call the ministry of Joseph House. Now, what you've learned, and if you watch some of my other teachings, we have having coffee with the prophet, the ministry of Joseph House, and the dream room. Now, the ministry of Joseph House is where when we really get down to the dreams. And today I want to deal with a particular dream that's pretty I want to say popular. One of these dreams that you dream a lot. Some is falling, running. This particular dream here, and I remember when we was doing as we do the ministry of Joseph House, which was also originally called Dreams and Visions, because we deal with interpreting visions as well as dream. Now, in the ministry of Joseph House, we would have people at times, I've had people call that I coach as further as they have a situation where, now I want you to look at this and think about this, because I also want to give you some teaching at the same time. So if you have a dream, and in this dream, this is your car. Now, you own your car. The ownership is your car. This is your car. You own it straight right out. This is yours. And so your car, but what's happening is you find yourself all the time, or you find yourself going through a transition where someone else is driving your car and you're in the back seat or as a passenger. Now, you have, as far as you can, in your dream, you've not given permission, but it's like you're wondering, you're riding along, you're taking this ride, and you're wondering why I'm having these dreams where someone's always driving my car. Now, let me back up a little bit, because a car is a very personal thing. The car represents you. It represents your livelihood. It represents even personality, certain things, your hard work and everything else. So in that sense that someone is driving that car, it also represents now that someone has control of that direction and that road where you're going at that particular time. Now, but if they have control, this is your car, if they have control of the car, they have the steering wheel, the direction, the road map, the GPS, wherever you're going, and you sitting in the passenger seat or in the back, it means you're out of control. You don't have control. Now, so a lot of times you may be going through certain things in your life. There are certain transitions and certain things can be experienced in your life at this particular time. And it's just seemed as if, well, nothing is growing right, or I just can't seem to figure out the things that I need to figure out in life. And I'm wondering what's going on. My life seems to be upside down. So as these dreams tells a lot about where you're at a particular time and place in your life. So that's why you really want to pay attention to dreams and certain types of dreams and directions of those dreams and what they mean and what they represent from that aspect. So someone having control. Now, a lot of times, sometimes you can have a dream, you recognize the person that's driving your car, but you have not given them permission to drive it. Could be a friend, relative, it could be whatever. You don't recognize them driving. Now, I know I don't want to confuse you, so we'll back up from perhaps we could say husband, wife. Sometimes you let those people drive your car, but it may be someone, even if it's a relative, that you would never let them drive your car, or let's just say a friend. You would never let this person, because this is a casual friend. Probably, we have certain friends that's even more of what you'll call associates. but they're driving it, and they're driving you around, and you don't understand it. You can't figure it out. Even in the dream, it doesn't make sense. Well, what's that saying? You've really got to watch that person, because that person could have a certain amount of influence on you or your life. Now, hopefully it's in a positive sense. But normally when you have that type of dream, it means that there's things that you need to watch out for, you need to be careful with. And other times you have a dream, you don't even recognize a person, because what it is just the things that you're going through and you're dealing with at that particular time. So when that's happening, what you've got to do, and the dream, here's a funny thing about a dream. If it repeats itself, it has established something. You've got to pay attention to that particular dream. Or if you wake up out of that dream and you can't get away from that dream, it means that something, the Holy Spirit, something is trying to reveal it to you, what's going on, what's taking place in that particular dream. So that means that now you've got to take a assessment of your life and where you're at. A lot of times those are things that when we start talking about the ministry of Joseph House versus dealing with the dream room. Now, the ministry of Joseph House, a lot of times what would happen is, personally, what I've done in the past in those cases, and depending on how deep those things is, have to really begin to start coaching them, interpreting, and start asking questions. But sometimes from those dreams, they get even deeper, where you need a deeper coach, where you need to go into that dream room. Now, why am I saying this? One of the things is I'm a spiritual life coach. And a lot of things was behind what hinders us are spiritual things. There's things that have happened in the past that have transpired. So in order to go forward into a lot of times the goals and the dreams and the things that you want to do in life, you've got to figure out everything is not in the natural. You know, as much as we deal with the five senses, there's things in the spirit realm. Especially if you're a believer as a Christian, you've got, as you begin to be more sensitive with the Holy Spirit. So we begin to now, so there's a way that you start navigating through these situations and certain things from that aspect. So as you start dealing with what's happening in life, because you'll be like, what, nothing is going right in my life. Relationships, jobs, certain things, I find myself feeling a certain way or what have you. Well, a lot of times you got to really pay attention through that dream. That dream is trying to let you know what's going on in your life as well. Remember, a lot of things what's happening, it happens from the spirit realm. Then we speak it out. It comes into from the natural. So there's things that you want to begin to watch and deal with from that aspect. Remember this, the lesson. If you're in the car and you're driving in a car that's yours, but you're never behind the steering wheel, you're either in the back seat or as a passenger, someone's driving, you don't recognize who's driving that, or it could be even a friend or somebody, but it's like you've not given them the okay to drive your particular vehicle, and you're wondering why I'm always sitting in the passenger seat when normally I'm the driver. Pay attention to that, because there's things that's taking place in your life in the natural. Car represent a transition. When you drive it represents going through transition, or transition, going from place to place. So I want you to really begin to see that and understand from that aspect. So we've been giving you a lesson coming from the ministry of Joseph House. And I hope that this dream has brought clarity. I want to really take my time with the dream, because I want to be able to now, you want to be able to reach the most basic or layman. A lot of times we say layman terms. So those that's been struggling with those dreams, we're going to be bringing those dreams along to this degree, probably about once a month or so. But we'll still be dealing with dreams from week to week or whatever with the coaching. So I want you to really see and begin to understand what it is and what it means. And as always, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about it, how the having coffee the prophet, is this being a blessing in your life? Is there certain things? Let me know. This way, as we start beginning to start building, and start is more about now bringing a gift to transform, to touch your life. Remember, we talk about what this is all about. This coaching at the end of the day is that we become better people, that our lives are transformed. And I don't want you, I went back, I shared last week, dealing with from the baby, what they call the baby booms, I call it the dreamer, coming from Acts 2:17. Now, there's things that we've got to do, you've got to do at that particular point of time of your life. So now that it's important that the visionary, the sons and daughters that should prophesied, that they need to hear from you. When you stop dreaming, it becomes it can be devastated, from that aspect. Because you need to pour into the visionary, so he can run with what you have. Remember, this is last quarter. This is your legacy. It's not over. You're not done. Continue. Grab the torch. Begin to run. Wake up. Start all over again. Listen, that's all I have from my toolbox today. But remember, you've been having coffee with the prophet.